Imagine this scenario. You step out every morning to your yard, leave a handful of seeds on the table or some breadcrumbs on the ground, and head back inside the house. At first, nothing happens. The seeds just sit there alone. No visitors come. But then one day, one appears. A small bird that lands about 3 meters from the table. It doesn't get close, it just looks, evaluates, and leaves. The next day it returns, but this time it stays a little longer. And on the third day, it finally eats. What you don't realize is that that specific moment changed everything. Not just for that bird, but for you too. And no one told you. This is bird science. Most people believe that feeding birds is a simple act. You put out food, they eat, and that is the end of the story. But science says something very different. When you feed the birds in your yard consistently, you trigger a chain of events that completely transforms your garden. And it does so in stages, each one more surprising than the last. The first stage is the slowest and the most important. During the first few days, the bird that discovered your food doesn't just come to eat, it comes to study you. It observes what time you come out, how long you stay outside, whether you move fast or slow, and whether you make noise or not. It is building a profile on you, and while it eats, it is taking mental notes. But here comes the fascinating part. That bird doesn't keep the information to itself, it shares it. Researchers have documented that when a bird finds a reliable food source, it changes its flight behavior, starts taking different routes, spends more time in the area, and emits specific calls that other birds of the same species recognize. It's not a loud shout for food, it's more subtle than that. It's a change in its activity pattern that the others interpret as a sign that there is something good in that direction. And so begins the second stage. Between the first and second week, you are going to notice something. It's no longer just one bird coming. Two come, then three, then five. And they aren't all the same. Different species start to arrive. This has a precise scientific explanation called interspecific facilitation. This happens when one species feeds peacefully in a place, and other species interpret that as a sign of safety. If that sparrow eats there without anything happening to it, then I can too. It's like when you see an empty restaurant and hesitate to go in, but if you see people eating inside, you feel safe. Birds do exactly the same thing, and the effect multiplies. Each new species that arrives attracts another. Your table with seeds becomes a meeting point, a social hub for the bird neighborhood. But what happens after the second week is what no one really tells you. In the third stage, your garden begins to change, not metaphorically, but physically. The birds that come to eat don't just eat. While they are in your yard, they hunt insects, many insects. A single chickadee can eat between 600 and 1,000 insects in a day. Spiders, caterpillars, aphids, and mosquitoes. Your garden becomes a natural pest control zone, without pesticides and without chemicals, just birds doing what they know how to do. But that's not all. Birds also pollinate. Hummingbirds move pollen from flower to flower while looking for nectar near your feeder. Sparrows and finches scatter seeds all over your garden through their droppings. Seeds of native plants that you never planted start to grow. After a month of feeding the birds, your garden has more flowers, fewer pests, and more life than before. And you didn't do anything other than leave food on a table. But there is a fourth stage that is the most extraordinary of all, and it has to do with you. After several weeks of routine, the birds no longer just tolerate you, they recognize you. They know who you are and have decided that you are safe. You are going to start noticing behaviors that you didn't see before. A bird that doesn't fly away when you go out to the yard. Another that gets closer than a meter when you sit down. One that sings specifically when it sees you appear at the door. This is not imagination, it's science. A study conducted in the United Kingdom showed that European robins can associate individual people with the provision of food in less than 2 weeks. They don't recognize humans in general. They recognize you and modify their behavior exclusively when you appear. But what comes next is what changes the experience completely. Fifth stage, the connection. People who feed birds on a consistent basis report something that science is just beginning to measure. A sense of calm, of purpose, and of connection to something bigger than themselves. And it's not just a subjective feeling. Researchers from the University of Exeter found that people who live in areas with a greater presence of birds have significantly lower levels of anxiety and depression. It didn't matter the income level, age, or location. More birds, less stress. And here's the part that no one mentions. When you feed the birds every day, you don't just change your garden, you change your routine. You go out at the same time, you sit in the same place, you observe in silence, you breathe, and you disconnect from your phone even if it's just for 5 minutes. That daily ritual, that pause of tranquility, is as powerful for you as the food is for them. You are not just feeding them, they are healing you. But there is something else you need to know, something that can ruin everything if you are not careful. When you start feeding the birds, you create a dependency. They adjust their routes, their schedules, and their territories around your food. If one day you stop putting it out without warning, the birds are going to keep coming. They're going to wait, and when they don't find anything, they are going to waste valuable energy that they need to survive. This doesn't mean you shouldn't feed them, it means you must do it responsibly. If you start, be consistent. If you need to stop, do it gradually. Reduce the amount little by little over several days so the birds can adapt. It also matters what you give them. Sunflower seeds are excellent. Millet works for many species. Cut fruits attract different birds, but white bread has no nutritional value for them, and spoiled food can make them sick. If you are going to do this, do it right, because once you start, it's no longer just your garden. It's theirs too. So what happens when you feed the birds in your yard every day? First one arrives, then many arrive. Your garden fills with life. Pests disappear, new flowers grow. The birds recognize you, they greet you when you go out, and you, without realizing it, start to feel better. All that for a handful of seeds on a table. The next time you go out to the yard, leave something. Whatever it is, seeds, fruits, clean water, and wait. Maybe nothing will happen the first day or the second, but on the third, someone is going to arrive, is going to look at you, is going to evaluate, and if it decides to be consistent, it's going to stay, and it's going to bring friends. If this story changed the way you look at the feathered visitors in your garden, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. We are uncovering the natural wonders and hidden science that often go unnoticed. Let's nurture the world around us. Your next discovery is just a flight away.